Hello, class. Today we are going over the Holocaust test review so that you are prepared to take the test on Friday. Part 1, locate and label the United States and Europe on the world map. If you're looking at the world map here, you should see that this is the United States in between Canada and Mexico. Here is Florida, and the United States and New Jersey is right about here. And if we look over to this side over here, we can see Europe over here. Okay, there's Italy. Above Italy, we have Germany. Just wanted to point out that Europe is over here and the United States is over here. It's very important that you know those. Part 2, write true or false. Number 1, Jews only lived in Germany before the Nazis came to power in 1933. That is false. Jews lived in many countries in Europe, not just Germany. Number 2, Poland and the Soviet Union had the largest Jewish population before the Nazis came into power. That is true. In Europe, Poland and the Soviet Union had the largest populations. Number 3, Hitler created the idea of anti-Semitism. False. It existed for thousands of years before Hitler used it as a tool during the Holocaust. Number 4, before the Holocaust, the Jews in Eastern Europe were more fully integrated into the society of their neighbors. They adopted the mannerisms and culture of their non-Jewish neighbors. That is false. It was the Jews in Western Europe that were more fully integrated into the society of their neighbors. The Jews in Eastern Europe really hung out in their own theaters. They had their own places of worship, their own schools, so on and so forth. Number 5, the Nazis used propaganda to promote their anti-Semitic ideas. That is true. Number 6, after the gassings, the Nazi gave the dead a proper burial and individual ceremonies. False. They gave them mass graves and also used crematoriums to burn the bodies, and no ceremonies took place. Number 7, not many people died in concentration camps because the conditions were actually quite sanitary and clean. False. Millions died. It was extremely unsanitary. Number 8, in Denmark, most Jews were saved by ferrying them to neutral Sweden. That was true. Japanese soldiers were the first to liberate camp prisoners on July 23, 1944, at Madendak in Poland. That has to be false because we know Japan was working with Germany, not against it. It was the Soviet Union that were the soldiers that were the first to free prisoners. Number 10, more than 50% of the non-Jewish European population helped any Jew in some form of rescue during the Holocaust. False. It was less than 1%. Number 11, no prisoners died after liberation. False. Many prisoners, unfortunately, died shortly after liberation due to the effects of malnutrition, or some people were so beyond helping at that point they had the mark of death on their faces, unfortunately. Number 12, the estimated figure of people that died as a result of the Holocaust was 11 million. That is true. Part 4, multiple choice. Circle the best answer. Where was Hitler born? He was born in Austria. Do not confuse it with Australia, that is spelled very similar to Austria. How did Hitler die? He committed suicide. Number 3, before the Holocaust, which European country had the highest population of Jewish people? You should know that it was Poland, who had over 3 million. Describe the Nuremberg laws. A set of laws that stripped away the rights of Jewish people during World War II. Number 5, the translation of Kristallnacht is Night of the Broken Glass. Number 6, Kristallnacht took place November 9th through the 10th in 1938. Number 7, what happened when Hitler invaded Poland? World War II began. Number 8, what was a ghetto? A holding place for Jews and others discriminated against by the Nazis before they were transported to concentration camps. Number 9, after the Evian conference in France, where delegates from 32 countries met, Hitler realized that he could go ahead with his plans to kill the Jews. Part 5, list the correct answers in appropriate order. Number 10, and this is a little different from the sheet that you have. This is important review, however. List 3 rights taken away from the Jews and others persecuted by the Nazis due to the Nuremberg laws. These were some of the rights that were taken away from the Jews. Jews were stamped with a J in their passport. Women had to add Sarah and men Israel to their names. They were not allowed to own bikes, cars, radios, or animals. They were not allowed to vote in German elections, and Jews were expelled from German schools. The Nazis targeted other groups in addition to the Jews, such as communists, political prisoners, Jehovah's Witnesses, homosexuals, the disabled, and gypsies. And there were many other groups as well. Put the following 3 events in order from first to last: Evian Conference, when the Nuremberg laws were first enacted, and Kristallnacht. The Nuremberg laws were in 1935, followed by the Evian Conference in July of 1938, followed by Kristallnacht in November of 1938. Part 6. Use the word bank to help you and to ensure you use the correct spelling. There are more words in the word bank than number of questions. Each word is only used once. Okay, so I'm just going to read through these. 13. The word Holocaust is the Greek translation of the Hebrew word Shoah and means complete destruction by fire. 14. Genocide is the term used for the liquidation of a people. 15. Anti-Semitism is hatred of Jews. 16. Hitler wrote Mein Kampf while in prison. 17. In September 1935, a set of laws was passed restricting the civil rights of the Jewish people called the Nuremberg Laws. Number 18. A concentration camp was a center where the Nazi SS gathered the Jews and other victims. Those Jews who were strong enough were selected by the Nazis for forced labor. They had to rise very early in the morning and do heavy work until late at night with only a meager diet of watered-down soup and coffee and dried-up bread. The final solution was the term used by the Nazi officials that referred to the Jewish problem, and which meant that all Jews were to be killed. After the Jews were rounded up from the ghettos, they were transported by cattle cars to various concentration camps. Most of the gas chambers use carbon monoxide from diesel engines or Cyclone B pellets to kill the prisoners. In the country of Denmark, though occupied by the Nazis in 1940, defied the Nazis by refusing to adopt anti-Jewish laws. When the people of this country realized Hitler was going to round up Jews and send them to concentration camps, they rescued their Jewish population by sending them in boats to Sweden, a neutral country. Number 23. In May of 1945, World War II ended in Europe. Number 24. The Nuremberg trials were set up by the Allies in an international court which placed major Nazi officials on trial for their war crimes. Number 25. Soldiers from which country first liberated camp prisoners on Soldiers from which country first liberated camp prisoners on July 23, 1944 at Majdanek in Poland? Correct answer is the Soviet Union. Part 7 asked, give one reason why the Nuremberg trials were or are considered controversial. And the first one was the defense that they were using were that they were just following orders. And the other, let's use Grammarly, the Allied countries were the only judges. So it was the countries that were fighting against Germany and Japan that were putting the high-ranking Nazi officials on trial. Therefore, it was the enemy that was judging them. So those were the two defense reasons, and that was why the Nuremberg trials were considered controversial on the one end. And then on the other end, the crimes against humanity were so beyond cruel that people felt, obviously, you can't just follow orders when killing millions of people. Okay, thank you so much for paying attention. Use this along with your notes on the Holocaust to study for the test on Friday. Have a great day.